Right, so I'm a bit lonely, aren't I? Is this thing on for the 0 people who are watching right now? Is this working? Well, I suppose I'll wait a bit and see if anyone shows up, which I highly doubt will happen. If there's anyone here, please say hello, 'cause I'm lonely. don't know if you were here for the song I just played, but that's probably going to get this stream flagged. That was The Pass by Rush off the Presto album. And god damn it, I can play it again if you missed it. Who knows though? So, suppose we'll wait for more people. I will wait for more people. Is anyone showing up? I would highly encourage people to say hello, if people are indeed showing up. But if not, then I'll just shut up. This is just an experiment, really. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, though. We'll see what happens. This stream, I guess, will mainly comprise of me talking about things. Maybe I'm just talking. Maybe I'll talk to myself. That's probably what it will end up being if no one shows up, and I doubt anyone will show up. But if someone does show up, I just keep repeating myself. We'll see though. Oh, hello. I just saw a person. I saw one person. We got him. It's gonna be a while before I see any of your messages I can see. There is some delay. There is much delay. But for those who want to show up, that's great. Please stay. And if you the stream for the one person who is here, hello. It's mainly going to be me talking about things. If you have questions you want to ask about whatever, about my work, my animations, my music, doesn't matter. Like world events, I suppose. See how that one goes. If you deem it necessary to have my thoughts on things, I'll be checking the chat from time to time. And by time to time, I mean constantly. So, if you have any questions, anything at all that you want to ask me, please do. But for now, right now, I'm just getting back into... With the release of Sword and Shield, I am going back to play Pokemon Moon once again. I don't have a Switch. If I had a Switch, I'd probably be playing Sword and Shield. But alas, I do not. So it's back to Moon with me. And aside from that, I have some music in my back pocket. Might release it. No, when it's done, I'll release it. I'm going to be saying a lot, but we'll see. I'll also be saying we'll see a lot. I don't know what to talk about. Give me things to talk about, the 4 people that are here. I'm desperate. And if nothing else happens, then I can just play another song. Which I will probably do anyway. Because I like songs. I like listening to them, I like writing them. I use writing very loosely, since what I mainly do is I write them as I record them. I think of a part, that might sound good. Then I record it on my keyboard over there. I have it plugged directly into my computer. Not right now, obviously, since I have my mic plugged in. Yeah. As for Gary's mod, I don't know. animation-wise. I do enjoy animating sometimes, but the last animation I made, the Coach and Nick one, I kind of forced it upon myself. It was sort of, oh, Coach and Nick 3, we've been waiting for that since 2017, I believe. Other than that, I forgot what I was saying. I just saw this message. Smash. I've played some Smash on friend's Switch, and I'm not very good. But that'd be fun. Yeah, might. If I do end up getting a Switch at some point in the future, I will pick up Smash. Also, my cat is currently meowing at my door, so it might be a good idea to let her in and introduce her to the three people who are here. So I'll be right back. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's in the room now. It's the same cat you can see on the video. Hi. And she's just going off. Hello. Hi. Meow meow. Oh, hold on. Mic problems, maybe? Hi. Blame the cat. Just blame the cat. Anyway, I still have nothing to talk about. I think I was talking about Gary's mod animations before I brought the cat in. Now she's distracting me. She's clawing at my microphone, at the wires. Thank you, cat. That's why we keep you around. So anyway, back to Gary's mod. I think I was talking about that before I let the cat in. Anyway, yeah, the last animation. I'm trying to retrace my steps here. Coach and Nick 3. Made that because I forced myself to make it. She's a meow. This cat's a meower. Right, I have to focus my mind on one singular topic if I'm gonna want to talk about it. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first time I've ever done something like this. I think it's going fine, all things considered. I have pretty low standards when it comes to my streams, because I never do them. Though I did expect a few more people to come. Like 5. 5 at least. Only 2 though. That's fine. I'll talk to 2 people. Right. I'm losing my trains of thought. I have multiple going on at the same time, and I have to focus on one of them if I want to talk about it. So we'll try this. Coach and Nick 3. I'll try this again. Coach and Nick 3. Took 2 years. Like, last one was in 2017. I think that's what we were talking about before the cat came in. And people I think were joking in Seaba's. Stop that, cat! People were talking in Seaba's server, joking really about, oh, Herr, you should make Coach and Nick 3. You should do it. I said no, and then I finally decided, oh fuck it, I'll do it. So I made most of it in a weekend, and then I procrastinated for a week or 2, finished the rest of it, and that's that. What other videos have I made? There's the Peter Gabriel one. I quite like the Peter Gabriel one, but no one seemed... It's not Gary's mod. And of course there's the album I uploaded. I started making the album in high school and I just kind of went off. Like junior year of high school, late junior year. Mid to late junior year I started. And basically senior year I finished it. I'm in college now. I've transitioned to community college and it's okay. I'm having a decent time. I have two research papers due, and I don't exactly know when they're due. I'm going to assume it's after Thanksgiving, but before Christmas. So I do have time to procrastinate, but I don't think I should. I've been procrastinating all my college existence, which is basically this one semester, and it's worked out okay, I suppose. And I've got to say thanks, the bad dreamer, you one person, for trying to actively engage with this silly person. There's only despite there being no one else here. So you're a real hero, Mr. Bad Dreamer. I'd say there are some good dreams in there. Doesn't doesn't pay to hate yourself. But what else is there? Like, if you can think of any questions, Mr. Bad Dreamer, if you want to drive the stream, then that's fine. I don't have much to talk about. This is a total experiment. Anything you want to talk about, Mr. Bad Dreamer, please bring it up. Be my guest. I'm sure you've got some interesting things to say. I would hope so. And and I will assume you do, but it's gonna take 5 minutes for you to listen to this, for you to hear this. I don't know. We'll see. I suppose the elephant in the room is Fever Dream 4. Whatever happened to that one? That's the question I ask myself all the time. I don't know if anyone's gonna ask that, so I'll ask it to myself. And the answer is I think about it a lot, for sure. However, and this is a big however, I haven't had time to work on it. And that's reality catching up on me. I do think about it. I do occasionally make things in the service of furthering it along. But by and large, it's total on and off thing. A lot of it's done. The bulk of it is finished. I have 20 minutes over. I started it in 2017, mid 2017. It'll be there. I'll finish it eventually. I don't know if you know about it, Mr. Bad Dreamer. If you follow my Twitter, I've mentioned it a few times. By and large, I like it. I think it's good, what I have so far. In 20 minutes, it's fine. I think it's good. I think it will be. I think it'll turn out okay. And I don't know what I'm going to do after that. An ASMR stream. That's fun. Well, there's not much going on, is there? It's just me talking to myself like a crazy person, and I'm surprised this dumbass cat has not meowed. She's looking at me now. You have anything to say? No? Alright. See, not even my own cat will watch my damn stream. I am so angry. I'm not angry at all. This is about what I expected. In some ways, a bit more than I expected, but in many other ways, not quite what I expected. And I'm not just saying that. I don't know. What else? There's not really much else. Oh, a question. Mr. Bad Dreamer. Thank you. Would you prefer what would you prefer between a Switch and a VR kit? Are you asking if I would prefer a Switch or a VR kit? VR does not interest me at all, or very little. Doesn't interest me much, I should say. So if this is what you're asking, I obviously would prefer a Switch as the alternative. If I was given $500 million billion and they said, with this money, you either have to buy a Switch or a VR kit, I would choose the Switch in a heartbeat. If that is what you're asking. But anyway, yeah. But, man, video games hardly interest me anymore. There are a select few that I quite like, and nothing else interests me at all. There's obviously Gary's Mod. I like animating there. TF2, I don't know. I I haven't played it in I don't know how long. So I can't really say in terms of TF2. There's Pokemon obviously. Quite like Pokemon. Like problem. Alright. Are we in the clear? Are we in the clear? Yes. Anyway, video games. This mic's... There we go. Sorry. Anyway, video games. I have virtually no interest in video games anymore, aside from a select few. I said that already. The one video game I am most certainly looking forward to is the rest of Deltarune. I loved Deltarune. Got me really excited to play Undertale of all things. I had virtually no interest in Undertale before Deltarune came along. When I played that, I was like, oh shit, this is fantastic. This is one of the best games I have ever played, memes aside. I was following the Sans memes, because I think the Sans memes came to a head right before Deltarune Chapter 1 came out. Or at least they were starting to get popular. And boy, did Deltarune give that a boost. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'll try it. Ended up loving it. Played Undertale, ended up loving that. So once the rest of Deltarune comes out, I will be very happy, because I know for a fact it will be fantastic based on what I've played so far. Other than that, not much. So if video games don't interest me anymore, what does? The obvious answer is music. Music is my new muse. It is my new favorite thing. I love lots and lots of music. And I was hoping we could talk about that, but no one cares about music. I care about music, some people do. Some people care a lot about music, but they're usually hipsters. So Does that make me a hipster? I don't know. I'm going to go under the assumption that yes, it does. As for music, I did play the Rush song. You might have missed it. Bad Dreamer, man. I don't know if you heard the Rush song. Please let me know if you did, because I will play it again for you. And this dumb cat on my lap certainly did not hear it. But as for Rush, I do have a funny story. So I think my parents are about that age where they had the great potential to be very into Rush, but it turns out they did not like Rush at all. So when I started getting into music, when I started record collecting, my mom asked me, "Oh, you're not into Rush, are you?" And I said, "No, not at the moment." And she said, speaking hyperbolically, "Oh, thank God, because if you were into Rush, if you ever get into Rush, I will disown you." Because her main problem with Rush is that she cannot stand the sound of Geddy Lee's voice. Which is understandable. It's an acquired taste, Geddy Lee's voice. It's very high-pitched, very squealy. That's Geddy Lee. Yeah, I tried the stream announcement. I said, "Hey, I might do something," and then I posted it on my Twitter. Bad planning. But I'd... What? See, even my cat knows how bad at planning things I am. But yeah, that song I played was The Pass. The Pass by Rush. It's on the Presto album. Rush is a great band. I was telling my Rush story, but I interrupted myself. So then, later on, I was in Disney World in Ontario, no, in Florida. I think it's Ontario, but I also think that's Canada, which is appropriate, because we're talking about Rush, and they're Canadian. So I was in Florida, I was in the Hard Rock Cafe at Universal, and I was on a school choir trip at the time, high school. This was a few months ago. It was March of this year, and it feels like yesterday. And as we were leaving the Hard Rock Cafe, Tom Sawyer came on. Modern day warrior, mean stride. And it was great. I really dug it. And I was telling my friend Steve, whom I formed a great friendship with there at Disney World. You know, I've never listened to Rush, and I quite like it. But my parents hate Rush, and if they ever find out about this, they will kill me. So right after I texted my parents and said, "I'm so sorry, but I just heard Rush and I like it." And they were all, "No! No, no." So I ended up falling down the Rush rabbit hole. And now I think Rush might be one of my favorite bands. So it's funny how life works out. Of course, my parents don't care, at the end of the day, what I listen to. Sometimes I think my stepdad, who is a musician, does. Because when it comes to my stepdad, his two favorite bands right off the bat are the Beatles and the Damned. My parents were punks. They grew up in the punk thing. My stepdad was and still is friends with a lot of Orange County punk rock dudes. He played in the band called DI. Friends with the Agnews, who were in the... Rick Agnew was in the Adolescents. And you may know who the Adolescents are if you've played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and heard Amoeba. I think it's in Grand Theft Auto 5 too, if I remember. It's like amoeba, amoeba. I'm gesturing an air guitar, but you can't see it. What a dork. So so my stepdad turned me on to The Damned, and I do like them. They're very good. Listen to the Black Album if you want, because the Black Album is a very good album. But here's my Damned story. We're gonna move on to my Damned story now. So I listened, I think, to the first half of the Black Album, and I wasn't really into it. I was, oh, I don't know. But I was still open-minded enough. I hadn't formed an opinion on The Damned. So this was also, I think, a few months ago. And my stepdad was all, hey, do you want to go see a Damned concert? Because he's friends with the bassist, Paul Gray, because they had worked together on an album of his. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll come along. I was very happy to come along. And so I saw the concert. It was, that was such a damn good concert, pun intended. They were on form. It was a great concert. So we went backstage, got to meet Paul Gray, uh, and Pinch, the drummer, who is now no longer the drummer. Pinch has since quit The Damned. And I don't know what they're gonna do now. Who they're gonna get to replace him. Maybe they'll get the old drummer. I don't know. So I met Paul Gray, met Pinch, and the lead singer, Dave Vanian, was off somewhere talking to people. And my stepdad was all, oh, you gotta meet Dave Vanian, you gotta meet Dave Vanian. And I was all, no, I don't want to interrupt him. So as soon as we were leaving, so we were backstage, and he sort of, all right, let's go meet Dave Vanian. And I was all, that's that's what happened. So we go. He practically pushes me into Dave Vanian, and I was just going. I'm a very awkward person a lot of the time. Sometimes I can put up a guise of, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm a confident person, and in some ways that's true, but it's mostly a facade. The difference is I know how to articulate, because I did theater. Speaking of music, I would kind of like to play piano, but I just procrastinate too much. There's not really much I can say regarding procrastination, because I do that too. I do that a lot. I do that a lot more than I care to admit. But it's worth learning an instrument, I think. But anyway, back to my Damned story. He pushes me into Dave Vanian. He's like, oh, hello, young man. He's a total baritone. Very deep-voiced man. So I'm just kind of standing there, and we have an awkward fist bump, and then I walk away. And he was very gracious about the whole thing, that Dave Vanian. And so I go back, and Pinch goes up, and he's all, "Ah, that was pathetic." And I'm all, "What else? What else am I gonna do, man?" He just kind of pushes me into him without an introduction. Turns out my stepdad did not know Dave Vanian, and I thought he did, because my brain pieced together, oh, he knows the bassist, he knows Paul Gray, he knows the drummer, he knows Pinch, so he must know the rest of the band, right? No. I think the rest of the band are on another level. There's the guitarist, Captain Sensible, who we took a picture with. I don't know what happened to that picture, but that exists. Fred Armisen was there as well. I met Fred Armisen. And my stepdad, being a total shill, I say that facetiously, by the way. I'm not deriding my stepdad. He passes him his band's live album. They were at the 100 Club in London. I think that was last year. So yeah, that was fun. That's my Damned story. I look back on it now and I laugh. But sometimes I think to myself, what would I have done differently? I could have done this. You ever do that where you just you look back on past experiences and you piece together all the things you would have done differently if you knew better, and you just dwell on it. I do that a lot, and it's fun. My cat is going to ruin my life. She is crawling on my lap, and it's a good thing I'm wearing pants. Anyway, that's my damned story. I don't have anything else. I'll think of something. If you can think of something, Mr. Bad Dreamer, I would appreciate it greatly. We're about half an hour into this silly, silly stream. And for the two people who are here, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. We've had like a constant 2 people watching this stream. Consistently. So that's nice. I like having people pay attention to me, but only sometimes. Seems a bit egotistical to say that. Just kind of blurting things out right now. But I'm having a good old time. Maybe I'll play another song. I was thinking, why don't we... Well, in the spirit of the damned, which we were just talking about, why don't I play some of the damned? I think that's a good idea. I'll play a damned song. I'm not going to play their 17-minute Wog epic. I'll instead play something else. Here's one. Alright. So I'm going to play a song now. Well, there's only one person watching, and I think that's you, Mr. Bad Dreamer. So here, to entice you to stay, maybe grab some other people, I'll be playing a damned song. This one's called Love Song.
Ladies and gentlemen, how do?
Right, there we go. That was the damned love song. Um, well, now that that's over, I still don't know what to do. But I guess we can. I guess I can spill my nerd knowledge of the Damned, because they were one of the original British punk bands, I think, alongside the Clash and the Sex Pistols. Sex Pistols I could not care less about. I love the Clash, and I think the Damned are pretty great. I don't know if I love them, but the Clash are great. But we're talking about the Damned here. This is the Damned stream. I'm giving due props to the Damned because they have sort of been left on the sidelines when it comes to British punk, the original wave. They're the big three. It's mostly the big two. The Clash, I think, deserves it. Sex Pistols, Sex Pistols had one album, and Johnny Rotten went to do Public Image Limited, which I'm not familiar with. But everyone still raves about the Sex Pistols. It's the Sex Pistols, yay! And, the Damned just kind of got left on the wayside, which is a bit of a shame. It's a big shame, actually, because they're very, very good. Like I said earlier, check out the Black Album. But now that that's over, I'll say this again, I'll reiterate. I don't know what to do. I think I'll go on until... I'll go on for a few more minutes and then I'll stop. I think. I don't know if Mr. Bad Dreamer's still here, but if you are, thanks for sticking around for this whole mess. Actually, all right. So let's recap what we talked about on this stream, on this talking stream, this wildly successful talking stream. I've forgotten all of it. Cat came in. I think we started off with Pokemon. Moved on to music. I remember the music talk very clearly. I remember the cat coming in very clearly because she is still here. She is still on my lap. And she's a good cat. She's just loud. She meows a lot. Don't you? Yes, thank you. But if, Bad Dreamer's still here, any more questions? I'll probably take one more and piss off. Oh, hi, Strello. Anyway. Everything still applies. If you wanna chide me, make fun of me. Oh, 2 a.m. Nice. Where are you? Well, let me see. Where is it 2 a.m. in the world today? Where is it 2 a.m.? Right now. I'll see if I can pinpoint your location. My first guess is probably Australia. Because I looked up, and it might be Australia. I don't know. Is it Australia? No, I don't think it's Australia, but I could be wrong. I'm known to be wrong. Because right now it is almost 5:30 p.m. So it's not very late. So no, I'm ruling out Australia. Here on my handy dandy phony phone, it it is 2 a.m. in Poland. This is where the stream has gone. So, it's Eastern Europe, I would guess. Ballpark, Eastern Europe. Or just Europe in general. It is apparently... It must be Europe then. Germany! Okay, Germany, cool. So, that brings me to my Germany story. Because everyone has a Germany story. So, thank you for providing that segue for me. I desperately needed it. Right, so, in my sophomore year of high school, I, my family and I, we all went on a little trip to Europe. This was 2016, I believe, so sophomore year of high school, yeah. So we went to London, had a great time there. Paris, not so much of a great time, because we're Americans. And French people, especially Parisians, do not like tourists, is what I've gathered. Yeah, massive delay. That figures. Anyway, back to my Germany story. We went to Berlin, and not much happened, actually. I just wanted to mention I went to Berlin. I don't think anything of note happened while I was in Berlin. But I think while I was there, the newest Ace Attorney game came out, Spirit of Justice. And so I thought, okay, when I get back to America, I will buy this new Ace Attorney game. So I did, and I played it, and it was good. But anyway, we went and saw East Side Gallery. I remember that. And apparently I missed this. There is a Pink Floyd's The Wall related graffiti on the wall. The wall on the wall. And I think while we were in London, actually, we passed by Battersea Power Station, which is famously on the cover of Animals. And I was not a Pink Floyd fan back then, so I didn't know. If we went on a Europe trip today, I would go, oh, there's Battersea Power Station. I know what that is. Anyway, back to Berlin. We were there, and let me let me tell you. I don't know if you, Mr. Bad Dreamer, are in Berlin, but if you ever have the chance to, I believe there's a great Indian place in Potsdamer Platz, if I remember correctly. I love Berlin. If I ever get the chance to go back to Berlin, then I will most certainly take it. I think there were some talks in my family to go back to Berlin this summer, but I doubt that'll happen. If it does, I will be very happy, and I will happily eat my words. Oh, I'm sorry. You yourself are French. Alright. Oh, 1 second. You know, I do have a Paris story, too. We were going to go to the Paris. Not the Paris. We did go to the Paris. The Paris. So we were planning on going to Disneyland at Paris in Paris. And we ended up not doing that, so we stayed an extra day anyway. Because we were planning to devote that one extra day to Disneyland, which we did not go to. Which was fine. I was taking French then, and once I went there, I lost all interest. But I'll hand it to Paris. It's a beautiful city. Um, I I exclusively ate onion soup, and if my French is correct, soup de l'oignon. If I can give one thing to France, they know how to cook. Unlike Britain. No. As for so yeah, that's my Europe story. I'd like to go back. Europe seems like a decent place, especially compared to America. America is a very indecent place, and I know this from experience. I don't know what else to talk about now that I've finished my Europe story. We've gone on for about an hour, and I've had a good time. I hope you, Mr. Bad Dreamer, have had a good time. I've lost all my train of thought, and I think right now we are pulling up to the station. I think we were talking about. Oui, c'est ça. That reminds me. I was the only person in my family who could speak a lick of French. I couldn't speak much, but I could speak some. And since then I've forgotten most of it. But I have remembered my favorite phrase, which is, I believe, je ne sais, je ne. Hold on, let me. I don't know. From my experience, many of them did speak English, but I could tell, like, behind our backs they went, ugh, this stupid American tourists. I don't like them, but I'm gonna give them onion soup anyway, but begrudgingly. They did not like us. I should have used my favorite French phrase, which is, je ne suis pas un saucisson ou une feuille de papier. That is my favorite French phrase, and I should use it more often. And no one will have any idea what I am talking about. I love that phrase, but I don't like France. Maybe I'll reassess it sometime in the future if I have the chance. I could go walk around en Paris and look at the Eiffel Tower again. I'll look at the Louvre. I'll point at the Louvre and say, that's the Louvre. I'll point at Notre Dame and say, that's Notre Dame, or it was. It used to be Notre Dame. I haven't, since it burned down, I haven't paid attention to Notre Dame, so I don't know what's going on there. Where did I leave off on my French story? On my France story? Okay. My general Europe story, this is the big part, is while I was there, I decided as a joke, and you can find this if you really search back on my Twitter, I decided to almost exclusively take pictures of pigeons. Because here in sunny California, we don't see them that often. There are a lot of crows, but no pigeons. So I took a lot of pictures of pigeons. And my mom was accusing me of being a bad tourist and being unappreciative, which was not true at all. I was appreciating the pigeons quite a bit. And so while we were in Paris, I acquiesced, and I took pictures of the normal tourist stuff. I took a picture of the Eiffel Tower, Tour Eiffel. I think that's not how you pronounce it, but whatever. I took a picture of Arc de Triomphe, Notre Dame, the pigeons at Notre Dame. There were a lot of them. And I took a picture of the pigeons at Notre Dame. So I was happy. I more than fulfilled my pigeon quota in Paris. And I believe I still have a picture on my phone. Yes, I do. I'm looking at it right now. Of all the pigeons near Notre Dame. So I had a good time. I'd like to go back. Oh, my favorite picture, the Louvre for Nintendo 3DS. Which is brilliant, might I add. I would love to go and see the Mona Lisa on my 3DS without thousands of people flocking near it. Say, oh, it's the Mona Lisa. That's a very important painting because people told me it is. I've heard the Mona Lisa is a very important painting that is in the Louvre. But you know what? You know, I would much rather take pictures of nude people, of which there were a lot in the Louvre. Soup à l'oignon. Traffic in Paris is a nightmare. I thought it was. I forget it. For some reason, I still keep Monsieur in my name. Monsieur Herr, which is the American pronunciation, which of course is correct. That's my. I keep saying that's my Europe story when I'm never quite finished with my Europe story. I'm looking through my camera roll. There's some decent stuff in there. Lots of cat pictures. Innumerable cat pictures. Though I say you can never have too many cat pictures, which I would say is a true fact, just generally speaking. It's like my camera roll begins and ends with pictures of my cat, which is appropriate because I love that little scamp. I love her despite everything. But we're about an hour in now, so I'll try and wrap up unless I can think of something else. Can you think of something else, Cat? No? Oh, another thing. Um, when we were in London, because David Bowie, of course, the late great David Bowie, had just died a few months ago, and like I was just starting to get into David Bowie when he died. That bless you, Cat. Yeah. So so when he did die, it was just a total shock, even for me, someone who didn't quite know Bowie's work. Of course, I'm very familiar with David Bowie's work now. And so, while we were in the first time we were in London, there was apparently a Bowie exhibit at one of the museums. I forget which one, but there was a Bowie exhibit there. And when we came back, we went to Paris, then Berlin. Oh my God! My cat just jumped on my keyboard, and she's gonna jump on my record collection now. This will not stand. I'll be right back. Right, I've just kicked my cat out of the room. So now things are much more peaceful. What was I talking about? Right, David Bowie. So we left London, went to Paris and Berlin, blah blah blah. Came back to London, and we saw that the Bowie exhibit had just ended. And I was devastated. I was so sad because I love David. Because even then, like, give me a few months, and I'll basically know everything about a topic. Give me like a weekend, and I'll be an expert in some dorky nerd thing, which will probably relate to music. I c- within a month, I will be a walking encyclopedia of something I'm interested in, because that is how my brain works. I get curious, I read up on things, and then I try not to turn it into a creepy obsession, but I just toe the line a bit. Because there's a difference between a creepy obsession and just an obsession. So yeah, David Bowie. I'll probably end off with a David Bowie song. Too bad I'm allergic to cats. I really love them. You know what? I'm probably allergic to my cat. It doesn't matter. My stepdad, I think, is allergic to cats. Does he care? No. That's why we have one. But now we have 4 people, so I might as well just keep going for a little while longer so they're not disappointed. I do. I say, I'm having quite a lot of fun with this here stream, just talking to myself like an insane person and Mr. Bad Dreamer. Of course, thank you for staying here and dealing with my shit all this time. If anyone else is here and wants to say hi in the chat, please do so. Not you, Strello. Strello didn't say anything yet, but he might. If you want to share the stream around, go ahead. I don't care. I care immensely, but I also don't, really. Part of me does, part of me does not. So David Bowie. Back to David Bowie. It's always gonna end back to... You know, for a Gary's Mod animator, I don't really talk about Gary's Mod animation nearly as much as I should. Should I? I talked about it a bit at the beginning, and then I just went off on several tangents, told several stories. I have more stories, maybe, if I can think of some. Oh, hi, Hooster. Hello. Hello, Hass at 47. No, I'm here. You probably are just experiencing lots and lots of latency. More stories, war stories. I have not been to war, so I don't have any. So anyway, back to David Bowie. Oh, hi, Mac. See, Mac's cool. He said he wasn't gonna come and came anyway. Like the bastard he is. You bastard. Thanks for coming along. I'm very happy you came along. I don't know what he's doing. Just listen to me in the background while you do your shit. You missed the bulk of the stream. Ah, my friends are finally coming along. Hello. If you guys have any questions, any curiosities, please do not hesitate to throw them at me. Like I said, if anyone can think of any questions or something to instigate a conversation with, then please do, because I would appreciate it very much. Because kind of slacking. We slacking on this stream here. Oh, you guys are so nice, aren't you? You guys are just so nice. So nice, huh? So nice. Anyway, back to David Bowie. I keep saying that, but then I don't talk about David Bowie. Like I said, the guys who are just coming in, you missed the bulk of the stream, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about now. I can always just retell stories later on. Or once the stream's up somewhere. You just watch it again, and it'll be fun. What other stories do I have? Um, 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 um. Well, here's an interesting one. Back in high school, which basically means like 8 months ago. So apparently, at some pep rally that I missed because I was sick, like there was a huge fight. The sophomores, there was a fight in the sophomore section of the pep rally, and I wish I could have been there just to see it. And I went. I think the next day I went hiking with my friend Steve, who I mentioned earlier. That's where I heard it from, actually, and it was really interesting. And I think then, on that particular hiking trip, I turned Steve on to Yes, the band Yes, because I was saying, because he liked music too. He's like, he's a bit of a progger as well. Hooster says, "What's your cat's name?" Mimu. Mimu. Meemmoo. You can see her. She's staring at you right now. Joey the Jew. Is that who I think it is? Is that who I think it is? Is it who I think it is? I'm sure it is. So anyway, back to my story. I turned my friend on to Yes during a hiking trip. I played him the entirety of Fragile, and he fell in love. 'Cause he's a bit of a prog rock guy too. He likes Dream Theater. I know that. And I haven't really gotten into Dream Theater. I've listened to a bit of Dream Theater, and I don't know if it's my thing because I'm not a huge metal guy. Because I do like heaviness in music, but only when it's used sparsely or sparingly, or in certain places. It has to be appropriate. It's not just. Not a fan. Not a huge fan of that. It's like I'll listen to it. If someone says, "Hey, I'm gonna play metal music," I'll say, "Okay, I'll listen," and then I'll tune out and play something else in the jukebox of my brain. Because I don't know. Is it a normal thing where you can just perfectly remember songs in your brain? Like you can just flick a switch in your mind and suddenly a song is playing? I get that a lot. I think that's why I have a decent ear for music, and I think that's what it is. You can just snap of your finger. You can remember a bit of music. And I always thought, hey, yeah, that's just it just happens, man. What are you doing? I might just end the stream here, really. We're losing momentum. Ask me a question, or this stream might fail. It will fall into the depths of oblivion, of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, but also actual Oblivion, or Oblivion with Tom Cruise, which no one remembers, incidentally, but I do. But I haven't watched it. Oh, speaking of movies, actually, I just remembered. Last night, last night, I finally got around to watching Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And boy, did I love it. I like Edgar Wright. I like his stuff. I've seen Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. brilliant movies. I haven't seen Baby Driver. I'd like to. One of these days I'll see it. But Scott Pilgrim, that was a whistle. It was it warrants another watch. It warrants another viewing, I think, because I may have loved it. Nevicate asks, "Why Tin Machine gotta sound like that?" All right, I'm going to put on my nerd cap on and tell you why Tin Machine sucks. So if you don't, if you're, so for the, just in case you're not familiar with Tin Machine, it's David Bowie's late 80s grunge phase. It's like proto grunge, and it's not very good. But it was after like stuff like Never Let Me Down. That was his 1987 album. And virtually everyone agrees that Never Let Me Down is the worst thing on planet Earth. Which it's not. It isn't actually that bad. David Bowie's 80s stuff. Like, Let's Dance, I love. Tonight, Tonight's good. Tonight has Loving the Alien and Blue Jean, two great songs. And I like Tumble and Twirl and Dancing with the Big Boys as well. But they're not it's not the best album, but I'll defend it. Never Let Me Down is a bit of a stinker. Not really though, because there are some good songs on there. I like Time Will Crawl. That's a good song. Day in Day Out's alright. But by and large, people just don't like it because it's it's of its time. It is incredibly 80s. I'm one to talk because I love Phil Collins' Genesis, which is also very 80s and is also widely considered by a certain group of people to be the worst thing on planet Earth, which again, it is not. But I think the differences between 80s Bowie and Phil Collins' Genesis is that David Bowie, before he died, readily admitted that his heart was not in his 80s stuff, while Phil Collins has integrity up the wazoo, despite Susudio. Because that's, I think, what a lot of people cite when they say, oh, Phil Collins sucks because he wrote Susudio. Fair argument, but it's not the whole story. And of course, you gotta bring up his stuff with Genesis is all so great. His solo stuff, different story. I'm not a huge fan of Phil Collins' solo stuff. I like Face Value a lot. In the Air Tonight, obviously. And there are some of Phil Collins' solo songs here and there that I really like. Both Sides is a very good album as well. Both Sides and Face Value. Music recommendations. Uh, they're both kind of melancholy, but especially Both Sides, by God. It's you get to sit through Phil Collins being sad, which is when he is at his best, mind you. He's very good when he's sad. When he's happy, he makes Susudio, and we can't have that now, can we? I actually like Susudio a lot. Also, I need a drink, and I don't have any water. I might end the stream just to get water. Really? We're going through the long haul. So yeah, Phil Collins, Genesis. I do recommend Genesis, by the way. There's more nerd gushing. Genesis is basically split between two eras. I would argue three, but mainly two as a whole. There's Peter Gabriel Genesis, which is very proggy, and Phil Collins Genesis, which is decidedly not. There's some elements of progressive rock in the Phil Collins stuff, but not really. It's very poppy. It gets, and people like to say, oh, Genesis immediately went downhill as soon as Peter Gabriel left. And that's just not true. Some other people say, oh, Genesis immediately went downhill after the guitarist Steve Hackett left. Steve Hackett was the lead guitarist who left after the Wind and Wuthering album. Sad good, happy bad. When it comes to Phil Collins, it's sad, sad great, happy okay, happy decent. But as for Genesis, it's very good all around because it's not only Phil Collins. They've got other people too, like Tony Banks, the keyboardist, and Mike Rutherford, who is Mike Rutherford. Mike Rutherford has a beard and sometimes plays guitar. I would argue Genesis is split down into three distinct sections. There's the Peter Gabriel stuff, and I split the Phil Collins stuff in two. Because when Phil Collins took over as the lead singer of Genesis, it was still pretty progressive rock. I don't. It's a blanket term. I'm not necessarily a fan of the label because I just think it's good music. Whatever. That's how most people would know it by. So there's like Trick of the Tail, Wind and Wuthering, and then there were three, and Duke. That's the first Phil Collins era. And then once you get into Abacab, like Abacab, the self-titled one from 1983, Invisible Touch, and We Can't Dance. That's the poppier era. And but there's I love all those albums. All 8 of the Phil Collins era albums. And there are more of them than the Peter Gabriel stuff. Peter Gabriel has the first album from Genesis to Revelation, which doesn't matter. So skip that one. For Genesis, if you want to get into them, I'd skip the first album from Genesis to Revelation and the last album, Calling All Stations, which has no Phil Collins and is not very good. But like Trespass to We Can't Dance, it's all fair game, I would say. So it's like Trespass, Nursery Crime, Foxtrot, Selling England by the Pound, and The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Those are the Peter Gabriel ones. And I already mentioned the Phil Collins ones. They're all great, I think. Other people might have different opinions and thoughts. Other people may think differently. And it turns out a lot of people do not like Abacab in particular. But Abacab, it's it's very punkish. It's like very art rock in a sense. I think it's great. But yeah, that's Genesis basically. Another one of my favorite bands. Another band I like to talk about for the uninformed. And if you don't care about music, by God, I will make you care. But now it's 6 p.m. I think we're gonna stop here, actually. So, for the 3 people that are still here, hopefully that includes Bad Dreamer, because that's mainly you I'm talking to. Thanks for sticking around. And I said we'd end off with David Bowie, but we're just talking about Genesis. So I'll end with a Genesis song. I'll try and pick a shorter one. Because remember, it is progressive rock. So yeah, I think we'll end it there. Thanks for coming. Stick around for the song I'm going to play right now. Once I find it. Since I'm so keen on Abacab, I think I'll play a song from that one. So thanks for coming. This is the song No Reply at All from Abacab. And once that's over, I'll end the stream. So thanks for coming. Bye! Bye. No, don't go. Not really a bye, because I'm still playing a song.
Talk